Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is my 15 Newton meter Cammus wheelbase. As you can see, it's currently got the Cammus GTS wheel on there. But look, for the Cammus ecosystem, there's not a lot of native wheels that you can just bolt onto the front of this. There's this GTS, which is Formula style. There's the GT1, which just happens to have a Fanatec wheel on it at the moment. This is the wheel the GT1 wheel normally comes with. Or you can just bolt your own wheel to the shaft and use the buttons on the 15 Newton meter wheelbase. But I got to thinking, I've got these two Fanatec wheels just sitting there, which is the Porsche Podium hub thing here, which is a great wheel that, to be honest, I haven't used a lot of, because I got this wheel just before I stopped using my CSL-DD. And then I've got one of my favourite wheels I've ever used, the McLaren GT3 wheel, just sitting there. So how do we get this to fit, well, nearly any base, whether it's Simagic or Moza or Simucube or Cammus? And that today is what this video is all about. Converting these, what would have been Fanatec only wheels, to a pretty much universal wheel that can fit on nearly any base, and you don't even have to pull the wheel apart, kinda. So after a bit of searching, I found sim racing machines, and they do a few different kits. Some of them you have to take the wheels fully apart. However, I have bought here the X6 and X6.2. With these ones, you don't actually have to pull the wheel itself apart, you just have to pull the quick release off, and well, I'll show you in a second. So what's the difference between X6 and X6.2? Now the shaft itself is actually the same, but the PCB is actually different. I've got the 6X here and the 6.2X here. This is how it comes in the box. Bit of tissue paper, silica gel, a curly USB cable, which seems to be of quite good quality, a T10 screwdriver, a little red pouch. The little red pouch has some Allen keys and bolts and things in there. And then you've got your shaft. You can also get these shafts in red if you'd like. And this is the PCB. Now if you have a look at these two very closely, you'll see the 6.2 here has a few extra pins. And that's the main difference. Now why would you need the 6.2? Well, for the most part, you don't. However, if you do have this wheel here with the button module endurance, then you need the 6.2. So I'm going to pack up the 6X. Today, for the purpose of this video, we are just going to modify this one here, and we're going to do the video on this one. Now we've got to pull off the QR1. Now obviously, if you have an older Fanatec wheel that does not have the quick release that can come off, you can't use the 6X's. One thing I didn't like about this wheel was the fact I had QR1 on it, and it did have a bit of play, but we don't need to use this quick release with the Cammus. I've got a Cammus quick release here, and that's all I need. In saying that, you don't actually need a Cammus quick release. Alright, all bolts undone. Now, quick release can come off. We've got one in here, I think can undo these ones. Alright. 4 little bolts. And we grab our PCB and slam it down. No, not really. Just give it a little wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Until it just pops right down. Whoop. Felt a nice little slide there. No breaking of any of the pins. Then we've got these little plastic washers here to put on the bolts. And just lightly snug them down. Done. There is a little cable stay at the bottom of this. I'm just undoing that a little bit. Slide that down. Oh yes. Then we just screw our plate back to where the quick release was. Now we are left with this. All nice and flat at the end there. Ready to put our Cammus quick release on. Right, that is the quick release on there. Now I'll just pop the micro USB cable into the micro USB on the PCB and then screw back up the cable stay. And there we have it, a freshly converted Fanatec wheel to go on my Cammus. The good thing about this as well is at any point in time where you would like to go back to a Fanatec base, you can just unbolt this and put it back together. Anyway, let's go put it on the computer and check it out. So here we are, all on the rig now, all bolted up. As you can see, it does space the wheel out a little bit more. That gap between there and there is about 57 millimeters, so it will become about 57 millimeters closer to you. However, people following my channel will know that I normally run this 50 millimeter extension anyway, which is very close. So it's actually roundabout where I normally use it anyway. I've just taken out the 50mm extension. And because I'm going to be putting the other one onto my McLaren wheel anyway, when I go and put a new wheel on there, then again it's going to be about the same distance. In saying that, these wheels with the podium hub, they do come a little closer to you with the button module endurance anyway. But what I'm going to have to do now is put this extension on the back of this to actually extend out the wheel a little bit more, just so when I go and put this on, it's going to be about the same distance away from me as when I have this on. Because I used to have this connected to the wheelbase itself rather than the wheel. And obviously as I interchange wheels, I want them all to be about the same distance away from me. Now this is a bit of a top tip. If you are wanting to run something like this, or any wheel that's USB operated on a Cammus base, or any base that when you turn it on does a bit of a loop like that, because it obviously coils the cable up. So what you do is before you turn it on, you just turn it on the side like that, and then it uncoils itself. So you don't have to keep uncoiling the cable every time you turn it on. So yeah, top tip. I have my cable running directly under the base and running to a USB extension that I have behind here. And I found that was just the best method for the way the cable coils around, because I've got buttons on the base as well. If I have it over here, it obviously messes with the buttons and all that. So by having it come up, it pretty much doesn't get in the way of any buttons. With the later versions, which is I assume what's shipping now because that's what I got, you don't have to run Fana LEDs. You can just run the normal Fanatec software. Let me show you. We're on the computer now. I have opened up Fana Lab. It's showing the podium button module endurance here. It's showing that it's connected to a CSL Elite wheelbase. I used to have one of those, and CSL pedals. But obviously we don't have those connected. But what that does allow us to do is change all the little LEDs and everything we got on the display here. That's if your Fanatec wheel is capable of this. Obviously something like the McLaren GT3 wheel doesn't have this. Something that this particular podium button module endurance has as well is the ITM. Now currently, as it sits, you can run in the legacy mode that'll show your speed and gear and whatever else. Going off the Sim Racing Machine's website, I think they're working on getting all this working, but as it sits right now on this particular day, it doesn't seem to be. It's just the legacy that seems to be working right now. Tuning menu, obviously it's not going to change your base because it's not connected to your base. It's literally just connected as its own individual device. However, clutch bite point, yes, it works. I don't think I can physically show you here. No, I can't. But obviously anything to do with the steering wheel, you can change. So it's super awesome to have clutch bite point again. That was something I was missing with the Cammus wheels, and clutch bite point is something I use all the time. But let's jump into a game and I'll show you. Alright, here we are in ACC, and we've got to start the car. Got the clutch. One thing I did notice about this clutch is when I release it, it does have a little bit of play before that clutch starts to go down a bit. Probably about, I don't know, half a centimetre of play before that starts to go down. I don't think it used to do that before, but it feels so good to be using this wheel again. One thing I have noticed, as you can see here, it does sometimes randomly have lights that come up. And I don't know why that is. Now those lights there were meant to come up. As I'm braking, I've set it up to show me with the anti-lock brakes and the wheel lock and everything. I'll show you again here. I'll brake really hard. That's the ABS. And then those blue lights that you just saw then, that is the traction control. Wow, are they blue? They're probably like a jadey, greeny blue. There you are, there it is again. But it's good to have these lights back. Massively cold tires at the moment. Sometimes I do feel the way the rev LEDs are is a little janky. Again, I don't remember it being like that before. But it's better than the nothing I had before. There's those lights again. What does that mean? I have no idea. Anyway, that's about enough. But yeah, all the buttons work, including all the back buttons. All the dials seem to work. It's just some of the telemetry and display and all that that's not 100% right now. Obviously something funky with the flag lights, but look, I can deal with that. I'm super glad that I have this wheel back. And yeah, on the Cammus 15 Newton meter base. Last time I used this wheel, it was just on a mere 8 Newton meters. So to jump up to 15 Newton meters is amazing. Because that's really what this wheel was made for. Something with a bit more punch. And that's the reason why I didn't use it too much on the CSL-DD. But now with 15 Newton meters attached, ooh, it feels good. I highly recommend, if you've got some Fanatec wheels lying around that are just sitting there like I did, definitely buy that conversion kit. And even if you've got a Cammus base and you want to get some cool wheels, buy a Fanatec wheel and this conversion kit. In fact, you can even buy the conversion kit already put on to a Fanatec wheel by going to Sim Racing Machine's website. You can just buy it already converted and you can hook it up to any wheelbase. Kind of like Cammus, Moza, Simagic, VRS, whack on a quick release and slap it on. So anyway, thanks for watching this video, everybody. Hit that like button if you'd like to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next video.